One thing to jump in on what you were saying about personal brand. So I was the face of FreeUp for 4 years. Everyone knew me as the VA guy. I was the FreeUp guy. Connor, who's got a large social media presence now, was very behind the scenes. He didn't want to be part of it. He didn't want to go to conferences. He was doing all the marketing stuff on the back end. And for years, I heard you can't sell a business that you're the face of it. And obviously that wasn't true. We ended up having a good exit. But the key is I was out of operations. We had a great team, strong processes, good financials, systems for everything. It's easy for someone to come in and replace you as the marketing. Like they can come in with different marketing people, a bigger marketing budget, a different marketing strategy. All that is really easy to replace. But no one wants to buy a business where you're the fulfillment, you're the operator. So that's kind of the key is you can build business with your personal brand. It's one way to do it, not necessarily the only way to do it, but make sure you're out of operations and you're building the business to be sellable in all other aspects, clean financials, good processes, a team that can let you go on vacation, stuff like that.
So you see the importance of building a personal brand. And it's funny because I'm going through this. Actually, I'm reading this book right now here called Create. And it talks about that. It's like, hey, we're going to talk about creating content, but it's really creating content on personal brand. And one example that they talk about is Elon Musk, right? It's like, Elon Musk has Tesla, he has SpaceX, he has all these other companies. And it doesn't matter what he does, like we follow him, right? It's not necessarily the brand. So I guess when did you realize that? Because you said like the kind of chronological order of things was like, hey, this thing helped me go to the next thing, that helped me go to the next thing. When did you realize that personal brand was that important that you actually started a company around it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the Amazon business, it started off very secretive, very secluded. No one knew what being an Amazon seller was. People thought I was running a scam. I felt like I discovered how to be an Amazon seller, so I didn't want to share with anyone else. And that was the early years. By the end of the years, I was networking with other e-commerce sellers and posting a little bit more on social media. And when we started FreeUp, it was a lot of fun because it was our first B2B business instead of B2C. We got to have our own website and learn a lot about partnerships and podcasts and conferences and networking and all the stuff that went with that. So that's really when I doubled down and said, hey, I'm just going to start posting content. And I don't care if it sucks. I'm just going to post it consistently every single day. And if it works, I'll double down on it. And if stuff doesn't work, I'll delete the post or never post that again. So that was my first runway into it. And when we sold FreeUp, I didn't delete all my channels, but I just disappeared for a year. I was like, all right, I did the podcast tour. I'm not doing anything. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just going away on social media. And we really didn't have any business ideas when we sold FreeUp. The original plan was to take a year off, travel the world. I thought I wouldn't see Connor for a year. Then COVID hit and we were kind of stuck inside with nothing to do and no business ideas. So it kind of forced us to start brainstorming other ideas earlier than maybe we would have. But we ended up building Outsource School as our first one, and then EcomBalance was the next. And over time, we slowly started to post more on social media and kind of the idea of, hey, let's drive traffic with our personal brands. We did it with FreeUp. Let's do it a little differently. Connor's going to focus more on SEO. I'm going to focus more on entrepreneurship and keeping it simple and processes, and you see how that goes and just build a team to make it so it's not overwhelming. It's not something that Connor and I are working 15 hours a day putting together content and build kind of this content library that we can repurpose and reuse stuff where we're not just having to be creative every second of every day. So it kind of came about with disappear and then in full force once we actually had other business ideas that we were passionate about.